great colourful looking out there and seeing obviously the start line there on the left-hand side of the screen, but also the 10 kites that are going to be competing in this race.
All the boats lined up. Now we saw in the Nacras and the windsurfers, the boats all actually lining up stationary on the line. That is absolutely not the case here. The whole fleet, the pack of kite surfers piling down in from that top right-hand side here in the foiling kite race here in the Melbourne Sailing World Cup, and they're underway. All the boats right up at the starboard end of the line, but the kites packed down low. Now the lower they get those, the more power they're actually trying to drive through the sail as these boats rip up wind.
Wow. You can see actually the Volvo kite there really starting to smoke through, and you can see why Ollie has been dominating all this week. He's smoking through there. He's obviously got a good technique. But as you say, getting that kite down, I'm assuming getting that kite down closer to the water, closer to 90 degrees to the wind is going to create extra power for you.
The boat speeds, if we can call them that, very similar between all of these boats. Absolutely cranked over that foil, not only providing the lift to hold the boat, the board up and out of the water, but also generate that drive to windward to try and counteract the angle of the sail. Ollie Bridge just a little bit out in front, Guy Bridge underneath him. And we can see Florian Trittle actually tacking off and going off to the right-hand side.
Oh, there you go. Look at that, the shot there. You can see now the breeze is much better out there. It's probably almost pushing the 10, 12 knots now, considering they needed that about 20 minutes ago when they first tried to start.
Once Black Kite absolutely smoking up on this windward side, I think in the top three.
Well, looks like the brothers there, the Bridge brothers, are doing quite well. They've got themselves up in the first few. I know I did see them slot up into 1 and 2 position there for a little second, but Florian from Spain has also now got himself back into that.
So Florian in a very different position on the racetrack. He's actually tacked early and is off on the far right-hand side. Bridge there just flipping through another turn.
Isn't it incredible how they tack the board or the boat in that manner?
There's the top mark already. Got to be careful to keep up around the top and down on to the run. And that's Trittle in front. Ollie Bridge.
Ollie Bridge has just had a fall there. Obviously fell off his board, which is not good. Obviously he had a dominant position coming into this race, but he hasn't won the regatta yet. This ain't going to help.
Well, back going again into the top mark in second place, but he's dropped right back now, straight back onto the foil. Sort of through a carve, and it's all sort of going to pieces a little bit for Ollie here. We're watching the regatta leader, but he just can't quite keep that kite underneath. I think he's trying to get going a little bit too fast. Going to just calm and collect himself and then get back going again. But we are looking currently at the leader coming into this medal race series. But down at the bottom, Florian Trittle from Spain out in front, and then Florian Gruber from Germany.
Well, obviously the two Florians there coming into this were ranked 3 and 4 overall, and obviously doing what they're doing is a great way to give themselves every chance to catch up to the two Bridge brothers in front of them.
Well, 1 and 2 around the bottom mark, and then Martin Dollerin, and then Guy Bridge.
Yeah, so Guy's doing okay. He's doing the family proud. But you can see there's some great technique, and see how they've got to tip the board into windward. I think that's so they can use the foils to help them go upwind.
Oh, it's definitely that.
And here's Ollie, obviously our regatta leader at the moment. Now he's got himself sorted out. He's coming down in a hurry, coming downwind. He's not too far behind. He's about to go through the gates now and head back upwind for that second lap.
Just untwisting the kite strings. You see them there releasing the line and just letting the bar just loop round and round. Both Florians, Florian Trittle and Florian Gruber, back on to port, heading back across to the right-hand side of the race course. Full speed, full octane, and this, if we are after an excuse to make this foiling kite race come alive, it is the dominance of the Bridge brothers falling out of it, and we're now seeing, you know, 3rd and 4th sort of charging back up the field and perhaps leaving this series wide open as we go into the next couple of matches.
You know, to think that Ollie has come into this event with, was it like a 14 or 15 point lead, and maybe in this one race he's really going to erode that by more than half is incredible. And with 2 races to go after this one, it still could go the other way.
And we're definitely experimenting with formats here. We must be getting up near towards the next top mark. Florian Trittel on to starboard, heading across to the final top mark.
Well, it looks like Martin from Croatia has got in the middle there, the 2 Florians there, so he's had a great second work. But there's Florian from Spain, obviously out in front. Currently sitting in 3rd position overall, but credit to him, looks like he's, without any mistakes, he's going to take this race.
It's like mountain bike surfing, isn't it? It's sort of a bit like riding a wave, only because you've got that foil there, it's just sort of bucking around a little bit in the water and having to control that ride height all the time.
Well, look at that. Look at those speeds that they're doing downwind. To think that, you know, what are we in? Sort of 10 knots of wind, and they're doing 23, 24 knots downwind. So that's amazing how fast they go. And faster they go, more wind they're producing across the kite, so faster they can go.
Very high aspect, very efficient foil in the air and obviously under the water. Very similar style actually. You can see as they go through the jibe, just moving forward onto the front of the board, just letting, if you like, the power of lifting that off the foil and just almost sort of floating through the turn.
So you got to be like a ballerina as well to do manoeuvres. And there we go. Florian just coming into the finish line there.
And through the line, Florian Trittel there. At the bottom gate. I think the reach to the finish there, so a reach the other direction to what we've seen in the previous medal races. Florian Trittel around the bottom mark, and he will come through towards the finish line to take the first win. Then Florian Gruber, followed by Martin from Croatia, in and around the bottom mark. We just lost one of the people off the tracker. We'll wait for final confirmation of the results. It may be that Guy Bridge finding his way back into 3rd.
Guy obviously had a great little comeback there, because I know at the first mark there he was, I think, back in 6, so he's done very well. Oh, actually, Ollie Bridge, wow. Got him there in 3rd position.
Well, I think that's Guy Bridge, and then Martin Dolence, and then Ollie Bridge there. I think this is coming up now. We will get final confirmation. Everything is not 100% clear.
What happened so fast?
And there's Ollie Bridge through the line. Not quite the race he was hoping for, but 2 more still to go. A single point for each race in terms of its multiplier, but each competitor has to count all 3 in this final series. And with Ollie Bridge clearly losing some of his lead, that may well have just opened up this series again as we get ready for race 2. Once all the boats are through the line, we will go for a final confirmation of the overall results board. You can see how both the upwind and the downwind, very different sort of styles of turn. Through the downwind, they just go for a bit of a float, and I think that back foot is really about sort of controlling the amount of lift. By stamping down on that back foot, you're generating more lift off that back foil. And so you can see as they go down into those turns, they raise the kite into a position where it's almost lifting them out of the water. They put all the weight forward on the board, just let it just ride neutrally through the water. And then once they're back onto that new turn, it's sort of power back on the, you know, the compression through the legs, and looking to try and use that foil to maximize the effect of moving upwind.
And I guess when I say traditional sailing, you normally think about the sails and how you get them through the wind. But I guess for these kiteboarders and foilers, generally, you have to think about the foils and the action you're doing with them through all your manoeuvres. And I guess you described that really well there with the jibes. They're quite just finessing the foils and steering the foils through the jibe opposed to the sail itself.
If we think of back to watching that RSX men's and women's windsurfing race, and you see the amount of dynamic control that those athletes use to control the board through the water and optimize its sort of position underneath the sail. These guys are doing all of that purely through the footwork and coordination of their front and back foot as they ride, what, a foot or so over the water up in the air. So plenty to do, and I think a very exciting addition on to this Sailing World Cup finals. We are getting ready for the second race. It will be the second of 3, and we'll be getting ready to see how the racing unfolds into this match. I mean, one of the things I think we need to write down on our piece of paper, Malcolm, is what the colours of the kites are, because I think that's pretty much the only thing we can see.
Well, we can see the number 8 there on the on his bib. He's come ashore there.
But only when he comes ashore, but just not when they're racing.
Yeah, like, is it because they're going too fast, or our eyes aren't good enough?
I think it's a combination of the two. I think it's a combination of some.
I hope everything's okay. He's running ashore in a hurry. Maybe he's got some sort of damaged equipment he's going to try to repair before the next race.
Could well be ride height. I did see the back foils there as he just jumped out of the water. One of them looked slightly out of alignment. We'll see. You can see there, obviously, the orange flag. They're on station.
And I think that what that red flag is indicating too is like the end of protest time for that race. So when that flag drops, that's when they'll start to look to go into the second race sequence.